Okay, so welcome to the next in the series of my big interviews. This afternoon, I am with the president of Hyve, Julie Driscoll. Welcome, Julie.
Hello.
So, when did you become president?
Over a year ago, about a year and a half ago.
Okay, and what does that actually mean?
So it means I'm responsible for running one of two divisions at Hyve Group. My division looks after education technology, energy transition. And I like to say it's where we focus on future economies. So we bring people together from all around the world. We've got offices all around the world, 34 events across Hyve and 24 events in my division. And we bring people together from presidents through to corporates, talking about public-private partnership and everything from EdTech through to how we fuel those and how we move things around economies. And more, what's blindingly obvious is that getting the right people in the room and guaranteeing brilliant relationships is what we're great at Hyve. I think we're the best. I think we're the best in the industry. That might be controversial, but I am going to say it. And I truly believe it. And what we do is, what I think we do brilliantly well, is obsess about the customer. So in all my career, all I do is serve the customer. If we get that bit right, then we're on to a winner.
Well, we're going to talk about who is the customer?
Interesting. So the customer are people that pay us money, simply put. So in most of our events, that is both a delegate who is paying to attend our events, or it might be a sponsor, or it might be an exhibitor. It really does depend on which event it is. But anyone that wants to get value from us, anyone that's got a problem to solve ultimately. And I think we are in the business of building brilliant relationships and understanding what problems customers have or what opportunities they want to unlock is our superpower. So we identify the customer based on where there's a want and a need, and it really does depend on the ecosystem that you're serving. But that's the fun of it. I think that's the fun of live events.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about your particular model in a bit because it's quite interesting and obviously it's generated an amount of interest, and Mark's very proud of it as well. He can't wait to tell me, so that's good. Good. But we're going to start with you first of all. Tell us your journey, because I mean, most of us obviously fell into the industry. How did you get here?
So I don't know if you know this, but I was an actress after I left university. Did you know that? Oh, there we go. Secrets are coming out now. Dish the dirt, spill the tea. So after university, I decided I'm going to be an actress and change the world. And I was an actress for many, many years, but I was your original gig economy. So I always did sales, and I got dragged into marketing, and I did English at university. So I'm really good at writing and communicating. So I actually did lots and lots of writing for magazines as well. And slowly but surely, the paid acting work dried up. And the gig economy work, the 0 hours contract work, got more and more. So I worked for lots of different publishing houses.
Let's do the action first.
Oh, right, all right. So yeah, I was in a few things. I did 25 adverts, so that's what paid the bread and butter. Lun Polly, I did the Lun Polly Getaway. Do you remember Lun Polly adverts? Yeah. Do you remember those? So. Yeah, back in the day, that was me.
That's going to be an advert in this.
I did one of the first, I think I did the first Sony PlayStation advert. You won't recognise me because my face is all pixelated, but it was me.
What one will we recognise you in? Lun Polly?
You will definitely recognise me in Lun Polly.
Okay, cool.
I did a cheese string advert. Cheese string advert.
Okay, yeah, go on.
That was probably the best day's work that I ever did. I think I got 20 grand for one day's work. So that was I did. Adverts were the sort of, that's what kept you going throughout the rest of the year.
I'm surprised. Did you get some cheese strings thrown in?
No. And in fact, they hated the way I said cheese strings.
How'd you say cheese string?
I said cheese strings, and I had to say it about 50 times before the client was happy. The client sat there on a sofa. We were in this house in the middle of God knows where. And the director kept running from the brand director through to me. He doesn't like the way you're saying cheese strings. So I had to keep saying it until I said it exactly right. And by the end, I wanted to throw myself off the top of the house. But we got there.
In a house? This doesn't sound like a 20 grand gig to you.
Yeah, I was a mum. I was a mum in a house. Yeah, this is the way these things are done. I was on location. I was on set, on location. Yeah. And I did tons of theatre. I did Shakespeare up and down the UK. I did lots of rep. I did an episode of Barbara, which you probably still can get to see, which was a TV show. And my neighbour saw that recently and came knocking on the door and went, "Oh my God, you're on the telly." She was shocked. Barbara, it was a very old sitcom, which you probably could find somewhere. And I still get repeat fees for a tenner every now and again. It's thrown my way. Yeah.
Love that. So then you're good at sales and other things.
Sales and other things. And after my second child, I thought, no more of this, no more of being poor, because it's not a fruitful career. And I actually decided I'm going to be a lawyer, I'm going to be a solicitor, filled out all the forms. And on that very day that I sent my application form off, Natasha Christie Miller gave me a call, who obviously became CEO at Essential. And I'd done bits of temporary work for her. And she said, "I've seen you're doing some sales for another organisation. Come work for me." And the rest is history. I went to work for Natasha. I went to work for M.I.C.E. I went to launch the first website for Mother and Baby magazine, which was a brilliant job. Having two small babies myself, it was an incredible role. Built up their digital sales, took over creative solutions, we called it, and digital. Repped all of the digital agencies across London. Rep Procter & Gamble and Kimberly Clark, two of M.I.C.E.'s biggest customers. And it was an incredible job, an incredible learning curve. Became a director relatively quickly. And I just kept climbing the career ladder. Became a publisher, moved to B2B, brand director, all of that. So the majority of my formative years was in publishing. That's where I really learnt my craft, if you like. And in publishing, in consumer publishing particularly, which is where I did a lot of the marketing work and sales work, you always obsess about the consumer that's reading the publication or absorbing your brand, as well as what the paying customer, as in the brands that are advertising or sponsoring, want. And it's really interesting because I think we're very much repeating the cycle now with brands, but you have the brand in the middle. You really want to expand that brand into awards, into experiences, live events, based on the research that you do. And it was a wonderful moment because you got to play in many different mediums back then. And I think we're experiencing more of that now. You've got a brand, you've got a community, you've got a group of people that want to meet. How do they want to meet? When do they not want to meet? And by being creative, you can grow businesses. And so from there, I moved into B2B and lots of B2B publishing, did all kinds of publications. And then over the last 15 years have done exhibitions and events and summits. And here I am today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, so you believe in community?
Yes.
And building communities?
Yeah.
And you believe in awards?
Oh, you're going to ask me that question?
No, I'm just just building my case. Just yeah. You were going into law. Well, come back to that. So, community and awards you believe in, okay? Hyve now. You had a period, obviously, where you went to Olympia.
Yes,
Then you came back.
I did. I'm one of the boomerangs. We have many boomerangs here at Hyve, and we're proud to call ourselves boomerangs. Elizabeth Deeming has just rejoined us as COO, and she's another boomerang. So we're proud, loud and proud about it. I absolutely will never, ever regret my decision to go to Olympia. It was an incredible opportunity. I was there 14 months. So
obviously quite a lot has happened at Olympia. There's been quite an exodus.
So the reason I left was Mark came knocking on the door, and Hyve went from being public to going private and private equity. You know the opportunities with private equity. I'd heard about the opportunities with private equity, but I went and chatted to a number of people that had been on that journey, whether it be a Phil Saw or Alison Jackson or people at Closer Still. And honestly, their advice was, it's a big opportunity. This might not come around again. How many event organisers are out there that are on that private equity cycle? So the opportunity to invest in a company that I feel I built, a company that I felt we could double the size of, and obviously with Mark, who I have worked with for many years and find really inspiring. Right. It just felt like too big an opportunity. And Mark's very persuasive as well. He's very persuasive. He's a wonderful salesperson. He did sell me to come back, but I'm really glad that I did. Being able to work on a much bigger division, being able to be part of the exec team at Hyve. We've doubled the size of the company in 3 years. Look, we've crafted a 3-year plan. It's called Go 27, but we've delivered it this year. So we're absolutely on a roll. Okay. So, and I've been extremely proud of what we've delivered in my division, mainly organic growth. And one event that's 31 years old, we grew 31% this year. So we're doing some things, most things brilliantly well. But going back to Olympia, it was an incredible opportunity to work on a brand that is so iconic. One of the most iconic super brands in Britain, for sure.
And what position did you take there?
CEO.
CEO. Okay, right.
It was an incredible opportunity because 1.4 billion is being invested in the whole destination. And what they're doing there is phenomenal. It is going to be one of the greatest destinations in the UK and Europe for sure.
For what?
I guarantee you. That's the question. Time will tell. Time will tell.
That's quite fundamental. Like, to be a great destination, it has to have a purpose. And what is its purpose?
So it is to bring together live events. It is to bring together live experiences. So there's a theatre there. There is a music venue. Obviously the exhibition halls. There's a performing arts school, and there are offices and many, many restaurants and a private members club.
Sounds like a mini London.
It's a mini London. It's a mini destination. Of course we've got London, but in West London and in that area, there is a dearth of excitement and colour and vibrancy and life. I'm selling it for you. I'm selling it for you, Olympia. You walk down High Street Ken, which is slowly, I think, getting its mojo back. A great friend of mine works on the Kensington Olympia regeneration project, because that did go downhill a bit. So once Kensington Olympia is really getting that regeneration, and then you've got the design museum, and then you walk further and you go to Olympia, I think you're going to see a lot more life, a lot more investment, people from all over the world coming, conferences from all over the world. The vision is there. Mm-hmm. Has it been painful to get there? Yes, it has. So potentially they are a little late in delivery of the destination. I am convinced that the end result will be phenomenal, utterly convinced. And I'm really proud to have been part of that journey, really proud to have been part of it. And the people that I met there, awesome.
Okay.
I think
Most of them left, haven't they?
True. Look, it's completely clear that the people I worked with at my time at Olympia were obsessed with the customer. Obsessed with the customer. And I was focused firmly on the trade shows that were within the exhibition halls and conferences and building out the new conferences and summits. The one thing that I can tell you, Anna's got in spades, Jill's got in spades, all of those people, is they care deeply about the customers and the relationships. And we know in our industry that's extremely important, particularly if you're running a venue. It may be that there's a bit of a disconnect right now between the people that are running Olympia and the industry. I think it's fair to say that. And I think it's fair to say that people have voted with their feet. Right now, that's not for me. And I respect that. I respect those people. New people will join. New relationships will be formed. It has been a very stressful period for those involved, because what you're thinking about is a venue where not only were structures changing internally of how the whole thing is going to be run, but the ground beneath their feet was being knocked down. I ran events there where there was floods, there was dust, there was a plague of locusts was the last thing that was going to be coming in. I think at one moment Jill thought it probably would happen. But what I know is that the group of people that I work with handled it beautifully. And I shall never forget the spirit of the people that work there, dedicated to honouring the legacy of that beautiful venue. And a venue we will always love. And we were talking before, it's needed. We need that venue.
Oh, the industry needs it.
The industry needs it.
100%.
So I'm delighted that I had the opportunity to work there. Absolutely. And I feel it's given me both sides of the coin, like the venue side. And also it was a bit of a boot camp into how all the other event organisers work. Very different personalities, they all work in different ways, all have different systems and processes, different cultures in different businesses. So that was an eye-opener. And what a wonderful experience for anyone. So
Do you do anything now at Olympia?
Yeah, we do. We've got Scoop at Olympia, a fashion event. It is a fashion event, and hopefully we'll stay there. We would love to keep the event there. We have moved an event recently to Excel.
What's that?
Look, many different reasons, if I'm honest. Many different reasons. It was a better fit. Let's be honest, Simon Mills has been doing a great job stealing all the customers from Olympia.
Well, I don't know about stealing. Millsy, she doesn't mean stealing.
He's been doing a great job.
Yeah.
And Excel's got a lot going on, hasn't it? It's got a lot of opportunity for growth. The Lizzie line has just transformed a lot. You can build more activations in and around with the boat that's outside and the different eateries. So we've got Bet there. We've now got Source Fashion there. So it's given us a different lens of what the art of the possible is at Excel.
Do you do much at the NEC or not?
Yeah, we've got all of our retail events there.
Oh,
yeah, so yeah, the Spring Fair's been at the NEC for 75 years. 75 years. Yeah. And we have Glee and Autumn Fair. Yeah, so
How are they
yeah.
doing?
They're doing really, really well, fantastically well. In fact, Jackson Szabo is the portfolio director for those events. It is the hardest thing in the world to reimagine events that are 75 years old. It's much easier because I've got them to drive that wonderful growth with brand new events or brand new launches, particularly when you're in the sweet spot of a sector that's being disrupted. And at Hyve, we do that wonderfully well. We've got lots of events that are just off to the races, doing that wonderful growth. It's much harder when you've got an event that's 75 years old. But with Spring, Autumn and Glee, we have got market share. And we are the #1 in Europe now. And the portfolio director, Jackson, did this wonderful town hall where he showed what our competitors were doing. And I deliberately do that. And what Spring Fair has done. It is not a wonderful triple-digit growth story, but it is a wonderful growth story. And it's a wonderful example of how we have to obsess every day about the visitors that come, that don't pay, but they are our customers, and the exhibitors that come, because SMEs are having a really tough time in the UK right now. So we obsess about how we can make their lives easier and deliver return on investment for them. We work with Thea Pafitis from Small Business Sunday.
Yeah.
And he's just a huge supporter of Spring Fair. So we get lots of those.
Is he any good?
He really supports.
Is he any good? Or is he a bloke who got lucky?
Him.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. You'd have to ask him. I don't know him. I don't know him that well. I don't know him that well. I wouldn't say he's on my speed dial. Let's just put it that way. But he might be on Jackson's speed dial. But he's a very big supporter of the event, and just in retail generally, retail employs over 3 million people in the UK, and we serve that community beautifully well and feel extremely proud of what we do there. So and the NEC have been wonderfully helpful, Ian and the team there. So I feel that when things work wonderfully well with a venue, you walk forwards in a partnership with them, and that is the key.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, but your flagship event now.
Yeah.
Should we talk about that?
Yeah. Which one would you say is
Which
that?
one is your flagship? Well, you tell me. I know which one Mark thinks it is. Shop Talk. And Mark Oxon likes to talk about Shop Talk.
I do not run Shop Talk, full disclaimer, but I do know a lot about it. Shop Talk is an incredible event.
You said about the growth here. Tell me about the growth here at Hyve.
So we've doubled the size of the company in the last 3 years. We're going to double the size of the company over the next 3 years. So we are now over 100 million EBITDA. So that is where we landed the end of last year. We'll be over 120 million for 2026. And we are going to be on a growth trajectory moving forwards. Everyone can do the maths on that.
You're going to double that to 240?
Yes, we will.
Are we?
In the next 3 years, by 2030.
Okay.
Yeah.
Acquisition, obviously?
Organic and acquisition. Yeah. So if anyone is watching and is interested in selling their company to us, here we are.
And who are you selling to?
I do not know.
But you are selling.
Open eyes, open-minded, open ears. That's above my pay grade. Obviously, we have private equity, 2 shareholders, and they and Mark will be talking about that as and when is appropriate.
And would you stay in for another round?
Of course. I feel it's my company. I feel it's my baby. And what is so fantastic is that we only buy market-leading events. So we don't buy companies. We buy market-leading events that are the best, like Shop Talk, in their ecosystem. And what that enables us to do is to geoclone and to launch new editions of these events. And it's worked wonderfully well. Like Shop Talk, we bring the gold dust together with the Stardust. So Stardust are all of our wonderful speakers, the best speakers in the world of e-commerce when it comes to shop talk. We bring retailers and brands together with providers, solution providers within e-commerce, and we guarantee meetings. Now, where else in the world can you go to an event and be guaranteed meeting?
Any hosted buyer program.
Of course.
It is a hosted buyer program.
Of course it's a hosted buyer program, but we are double opt-in. So why is that different and why is that special? Let me talk to you. So a hosted buyer program is you're going to have a bunch of people. Yeah, I'll have a lovely, lovely day out and or week out, whatever it might be. You pay for my hotel room. I'll go to maybe 5 random meetings and get my card ticked and off I pop. We put our hosted buyers to work, and it's an algorithm, which means it's double opt-in. So the hosted buyers will only accept meetings they really want to go to. And those meetings are also approved by the edtech or the vendors, the solution providers. So it is people that are really interested in meeting each other that meet. And they don't meet on a stand, they meet in a hall across a table, 15-minute meetings, and then they move on. So they can have, we're delivering hundreds of thousands of meetings at every one of our events, guaranteed meetings that people have opted in for, that they believe are going to grow their own pipelines, their own businesses, deliver their own double-digit growth or triple-digit growth. So that's the difference with Hyve events, is we're in the business of facilitating the best relationships in the world, the highest quality relationships in the world, in ecosystems which are the market leaders of their kind. You do not get that at any other events business in the world. That's why we're different at Hyve.
So let me just, let's just get some details there. So one of your hosted buyers at Shop Talk, for example.
Yes.
Okay, so what does that cost you? One hosted buyer.
For us, so we give them per DMs. So we will pay them around £800, and it depends for a hotel, flight, accommodation, all of that. And they will get that back after they've attended their required meetings.
So if they don't attend the meetings, they're in for the money.
Correct. Correct.
It sounds like, so it sounds like they're forced to do the meetings.
It's part, well, they're not forced to do it.
Well, they are. Oh, if you're for 800 quid.
In any hosted buyer program, there is a quid pro quo, isn't there? That is the deal. What we focus on is the level of buyers that we get, and it's retailers and brands that come to Shop Talk. It is the highest quality because that is what we're famous for. So we employ people year round. All they do is secure these hosted buyers and they build brilliant relationships with them.
Who does that, sorry?
So we have a team of people here that are only focused on building year-round relationships with the retailers and brands for Shop Talk. That is a difference. So and these people, they are community builders, but they are highly paid. But these are not a delegate sales team. Let me put it this way. I've run delegate sales teams, and this is not I'm making 150 calls an hour. This is I'm going to come and meet you in Madrid. I want to build a relationship with you. I want to know what your company is looking to build over the course of the next 3 years. I want to know if it's appropriate for you to come to Shop Talk. So we go out of our way to make sure the right people that have the propensity to buy. So that's really important. If you're not in the business of buying, if your technology cycle is such that actually I'm fully done, if you're not in the business of wanting to speak to tech vendors, then don't come. That's fine.
For sure.
And these tech cycles, every 3 years, people are looking at new things. So we only are obsessed with people that are in the business of purchasing, and that propensity to buy is really important. So that's the difference. It's the quality and it's the highest level of decision makers that we get to our events.
Okay.
And we're serious about it, because the value that we're delivering is high quality. And that's the difference when it comes to Hyve.
But nevertheless, that there's still, there is still that jeopardy. Should they not go, they pay £100.
Of course. Okay. Yeah, if they don't go, absolutely.
Does it work?
It does work.
But wait, when I say does it work, I know it works for you. Yeah. Because I know your rebookings.
Yeah.
So the show flies.
Yeah.
But does it work?
Who does it work? Who might it not work for? So if our exhibitors and sponsors are rebooking,
and you've got stats to show that.
Yeah. Well, we don't collect post-event stats.
You're just assuming because people rebook that it works.
Correct. Some of these purchasing cycles are very, very long tail, right? So if you're going to buy a new tech product, you're going to involve a huge raft of stakeholders. You're going to be having many, many conversations. But what we know is that our rebook is extremely high. We launched Shop Talk Luxe recently. It had an extremely high NPS for a launch show and an extremely high rebook. So you have to think, how do you measure success? We measure success by how many people are coming back. That is a really easy measure. Are they coming back? Like for like, are they taking more sponsorship? Are they buying more meetings? Are they taking more space? Are the retailers and brands coming back? So that is a measure of, does it work?
I'm a bit scared of that. I'm a bit scared of that for the industry. Not just for, I'm scared of that for the industry. I don't think we go deep enough. For me, this is a house of cards, and I'm worried about it. There isn't a single organizer, not one. I knew the answer before I asked you. There's not a single organizer who knows if their show actually works. As in, does it mean, has anyone got stats that after their exhibition, these people buy this is what normally happens, these are the buying cycles, that's what happens? No, we base it on rebooking, which seems like a reasonable thing to do. That seems like a reasonable thing to do. The exhibitors are happy. If they weren't happy, they wouldn't come back. But is that true?
So let's put it another way. We do know through our data, whether it be on Bet UK or any of the Bet events, or we have now created impact reports. And on those impact reports, no, that's all right. On the impact reports, we can tell any customer, you had this many visitors to your stand. The purchasing power of those visitors is X. We can also tell you that their propensity to buy is, their buying cycle is this. What are they interested in buying is that. So these impact reports, we're now able to, these are your leads that you're going to follow up. These are the people that you actually met. You can prioritize those leads in order of propensity to buy or highest bellwether company for you or whatever it might be. So actually we're going a lot deeper now with our customers, and they're really welcoming that, because clearly they need to prove a return on investment, a return on time to their internal organization, to their CEOs or their CFOs or whatever it might be. So the impact reports are, every single customer is getting them on a bet, and where we have a meetings program. That is really helping. Now, to get to what you've just referenced, our customers would need to tell us exactly how much money they've taken. Some customers don't want to do that. Why don't they want to do that? Because they don't want to reveal their cards. We're charging a price of X, we're delivering a value of Y. We might say, if we're delivering you a deal that's worth $100 million, We want a percentage of that $100 million. Thank you very much. We could change the pricing model. So if you're...
Wow, that's cynical. I know what you're saying.
If you're purchasing products from us, you may well say, I don't want to tell you.
Okay, I get that. Yeah. But I'll tell you who would tell you.
Who would tell you?
The visitors, the buyers.
Sometimes, but some of these relationships are very confidential and they don't want us to know. Because business between two organisations telling us how much those deals are for, a lot of those deals are under NDA. They don't want their competitors knowing. They don't want us knowing. So it's important to honour and respect the privacy of your customer groups.
All right, even accepting that point, they would still tell you if a deal was done. We don't even know that.
So often our customers do tell us if a deal is done, most of the time.
Not a single organiser produced those stats. Not one. Not one.
Going back to what I've just said, you can only produce stats if both parties are willing to actually tell you the business that has been done off the back of an event. And until customers are willing to tell you that, no, you can't produce those stats. But again, let me take you back to the point of why would customers come back if it wasn't working for them? We are upselling our customers. So our like for like, we measure our customers on the like for like revenues. Are they purchasing more than the year before? So that's a key metric for us, a key KPI. So understanding the value we're delivering to our customers is really important.
But Julie, there have been plenty of shows over the years where massive exhibitors, huge exhibitors, have just rebooked, because that's what they do. They go to that show, no questions asked, they go to that show, and then suddenly, someone new comes in, there's a different wave, it all changes, and they're questioned. What's the value? And it's like, oh my God, this is a house of cards. We can't justify it. You're right. And so I don't know. Look, all I'm saying is, I think it's a danger. Look, for years, Rebook was a traditional and robust way of deciding if a show works. I'm not sure that's going to be good enough over the next 10 years. I think the world is moving on.
With our key accounts, what we do is we really sit with them. So we're doing workshops now with some of our big customers, because our big customers, we're doing 7-figure deals with them and we're doing 3-year partnerships with them. So we spend a lot, and I'll take you right back to the beginning of my career when I was dealing with a Procter & Gamble or a Kimberly-Clark. First things first, you understand what's the value, what's the problem we're trying to solve for you, or what's the opportunity we're trying to unlock for you. We will go and do one-day workshops with these customers that we're delivering multi-year partnerships for. We will get their stakeholders in a room. So most of our decision-making units, they're not one person, they're maybe 7 or 8 people. We take 7 or 8 people back. I will get to know their CEO. We will have all kinds of people there, their strategy director, our strategy director, our editors, our marketing directors, all of those great people. So we get them in a room and what are those problems that we can solve for you? What are the problems that we can solve that no one else can? What are the opportunities we can unlock that no one else can? And off the back of that, we create 3-year partnerships. And that's our preferred way of working. If we work with people and co-create the events, the summits, the conferences, the exhibitions that we're running, then it's going to work better for both parties, because we know that we can build the solutions that they need bespoke to them. And where we've done that, we have deepened relationships, we have delivered more value, and we will go and present, here's what we delivered, these are your objectives, here's what we delivered, and these are the KPIs that you set as a customer. The customer sets the KPIs, not us. And this is what I did back in the days of consumer as well. The customer decides on how value is delivered, not us. So if we've met the customer's KPIs and we've delivered the value that we said we would deliver, then they're in the driving seat of deciding if we've delivered the value. That is smart, and that is why we're different at Hyve, because we are delivering value and proving value based on what the customer wants, not based on what we think they want.
Love that idea. Very good idea. The 3-year partnership, very good. But within that, surely there'll be quantifiable objectives. And surely anybody who's coming to an event and spending money to talk to the market and talk to buyers within the market, in the end want to make some sales.
Sometimes.
Over 3 years.
Let's not forget, our events are all different. Yeah, but let the customer decide. Yeah. Am I here to sell? Am I here to drive brand awareness? Am I here to get inroads with ministers? We launched a ministerial symposium at BET this year. We have a ministerial symposium at Mining and Daba, at ASU GSV in the States. We have politicians from all over the world coming there. Yeah. So public-private conversations and public-private partnerships are becoming more and more of how our summits are working. I had a CEO of Ivanhoe, which is one of the biggest mining companies in the world, at Mining and Daba. And she said, there are 2 events in the year that are important to me. The first is Davos, and the second is Mining and Daba. And Mining and Daba is more important. So you're actually talking about a really different level of why customers are coming, what value they seek from an event, and what we are selling is access to relationships. So old way of thinking is, I need a return on investment based on how much I have sold. That's part of it. New way of thinking is, how am I deepening relationships with the most important people of an economy?
With a view to growth, though. In the end, I take your point, but in the end, it has to create growth.
Of course. Are you delivering growth for an economy? As with many of these, we have ministers from all around the world. So when you're talking about education, you're talking about long-term deliverables that will drive growth, hopefully within a generation, right? So if you are a country, and we had ministers from all over the world at our ministerial symposium, we are getting them together with the Microsofts or the Lenovos or the BCGs of the world, and they are talking about the future of education. Ultimately, the goal is, we want every child to have the best education, access to education globally. That is the goal of every single country. But every single country is going around it a different way. So we're giving these organizations, public-private organizations, access to have relationships in a really high-level summit that will deliver different ways of thinking, different ways of working, and sharing knowledge. And that summit model and that high-level relationship model is something we specialize in. We have those skills. Similarly, and that's very, very different to an event where I need X amount of sales to be able to go back to my boss to say that the event was worth it. That's a very short-termist view. If you are a company and you are in growth, you have to take long-term views and have objectives that are not just, did I sell something in the event in the 3 days? And there are some events that are like that. There are. But I'm
not sure there are many trade shows like that, but there has to be at some point an evaluation.
Of course. But let the customer set the evaluation, not us.
Community.
Yeah.
And the building of community, and how important that is within your own sectors that you're serving, and awards.
Yes.
Okay. Well, then how do you justify not being involved in the exhibition community and in the exhibition awards? You don't really get involved, you don't engage. Why is that?
So interestingly, we do engage particularly around operations. So we have 7 people within Hyve that work on working groups for the Association of Exhibition Organisers. Mark was at M.I.C.E recently with one of our colleagues. Fantastic. There you go. Hanging out with the community.
I mean, that's not engaging. I mean, that's... Okay, go on, Karen.
Similarly, I mentor several people within the community. We might not be loud and proud and jazz hands about what we do, but we help people within the exhibitions community extensively. And whenever we are asked, we do help. I think you might be referring to, oh, we don't enter awards. No, we don't enter awards.
I think, look, the reason you build a community, I'm assuming, is because the whole point about community is we all learn off each other. You talk about education. You know, the world has moved at a huge pace since communication has we learn off other people's practices. What's good practice? What did you do over there? Oh, I want to learn that. But you don't get involved in any of that. And you've got a whole industry here, chatting about, oh, that work. Did you do that? Did you do that? Did you do that? And you actually promote this within your own sectors, and yet you don't get involved in your own, the one that is your business. I don't understand.
So we are involved, as I've just said. We are. Really? We are. What I would say is that we do run conferences and summits that are focused on marketing excellence. So Possible is focused on marketing excellence. We have the chief marketing officers from around the world talking about best practice when it comes to AI, when it comes to data build, when it comes to data engagement, enrichment, conversion rates, how to do everything when it comes to brand building. Do I think that our people spending time at one of our own events and attending Possible is time well spent? Absolutely. It's a masterclass in best practice in marketing. You cannot get better around the world. You will learn more there, and I'm a massive fan of marketing is one of our strengths within Hyve and something I am deeply passionate about growing our data and brand building. So do I think that we are best in class in that? And do I think we're going to the best place to learn? Yes, I do.
So do you think, therefore, by that, you don't think you or any of your staff have got anything to learn off any other organiser?
Time is precious. I think I have a growth mindset. I think we can learn something new every single day from people all around us, always. That is my absolute belief. I think that time is really challenged for every single person in this organisation.
And for every other organiser in the country, in the world.
We're on a mission here to double the size of the organisation. So we're ruthless with how we spend our time. And we spend our time with our communities, the communities that we serve. So we have specialists that are obsessive around EdTech. We have people that are obsessive about energy transition, about e-commerce. This is what our people are obsessed about. And that is something. We're also a global company. So around the world, people are doing different things all around the world. Just because people might not attend different events in London, for example, or Manchester, it doesn't mean that they're not learning in Beijing or Shanghai or Houston or New York or San Diego or wherever they may live, or Brazil. We are a very global company.
But you sit on the edge of the village. Everybody describes the exhibition industry as a village. We all know each other. Mark doesn't want to be involved in that. He's pretty vocal about that. You sit on the edge of the village. And that's talked about.
And rightly so. Look, rightly so. It is talked about. When it comes to operations, we really want to share best practice. We think health and safety is extremely important. And we are committed. We pay to be part of the Association of Exhibition Organisers each year. So we're absolutely supporting the community and supporting what that organisation does for other event organisers. Many of us mentor people across the exhibitions industry, and we give our advice. We do it quietly, and we do it with.
Any advice? I mean, do
you
not
of
think
course.
Something to teach you?
Do you not think that we're picking up the phone to each other all the time? But again, This is something whereby relationships are built over the course of time. We might not be loud and proud about we're going to attend many, many different events. We don't do that. We attend the events within the ecosystems that we serve, and we're proud of that. And we are building something very different within Hyve. So we only buy market leading events. We then focus in those sectors and those verticals, and we go really, really deep within those sectors and verticals. We don't buy businesses. So that's why we're different, and that's where we're different. And we work with many, many founders and startups. And those founders and startups come to us and they want to sell their businesses to us.
Are they market leading events?
They are market leading events. Do you not think Possible's a market leading event, or Manifest, or Health?
I'm saying that founders and startups don't often shoot straight to the top with a market leading event. Do they?
Look at Health.
Well, there are examples. There are examples.
Yeah, I think that's a great example.
But there are plenty that don't.
We buy market events that either are market leaders or are very strong challengers to number one brands. But when it comes to Possible, again, for example, what they're doing is unique. So I would say they are number one in what they are doing around the world.
So you're interested in talking to founders and people who start and create events?
Yes.
But you're not in any of the groups and only get involved with all the groups that exist. Because we run them and you're not in them.
We talk to lots of founders. People that are wanting to sell come to us. So we find avenues and ways to communicate with them and talk to them. And that's the important thing. We have a long list of people that we're talking to. So if there was ever a dearth of those conversations, we would expand our remit. But right now, we are really happy with the conversations and the pipeline that we've got. So that's all I can say on that.
On the core page here. All right. So what about awards?
No, we don't enter industry awards.
You used to.
We did.
So why did you used to?
So that is something I think that Mark is very passionate that we focus on the industries that we represent. So BET has won awards within education technology. We have had Source Fashion that's won awards within sourcing and responsible the responsible sourcing within the retail community. So again, we go deep within our verticals, and that's where we want to focus and that's where we want to play. And I think it's a really smart way of working, because we are a global company, we are a global organisation. The awards that exist in London, they don't actually resonate with our global workforce. So that is something our people tell us. And it's a decision we've made.
Well, you said your staff don't want to go to the awards.
Our staff do go to awards. They go to the awards that are within retail or within edtech or within energy.
But they don't want to go to the industry awards.
So look, if people really want to go, they can talk to us, they can tell us. They've got more than enough people inviting them for free to go. What's important is that we want to hire really smart people that are very, very determined to grow the businesses that they work on. And we have got the secret sauce in getting people focused in.
You've got a secret sauce of people?
Secret sauce of people that are focused on they're focused on the industries that they represent. They're not.
I don't know. Have I understand that you've got a secret sauce of people?
Secrets? No, I meant. I think, yeah. As in secret sauce, as in we hire people and we get them focused on the industries that they represent, not the wider conference or summit business or the wider exhibitions business. They're focused in on the industry that they serve. That's the obsession. So that's the magic formula.
I think every organiser would say the same. You've got to be invested in the community you serve. Nevertheless, you also have to understand the community that you are, and you're an exhibition organiser.
It's a choice that we've made, and we're driving phenomenal growth.
But it's not mutually exclusive, is it? How is it mutually exclusive?
Look, you're going to have to talk to Mark about this. Yeah, talk to Mark about it. Quite frankly, it's not a conversation that people come to me and say, can I enter these awards, or can I do this, or can I do that? People don't come to me.
What I don't understand is you used to enter the awards and then you didn't win any, and now you don't enter any.
Well, we've chosen not to enter awards.
Is it because you didn't win any?
You're going to have to ask Mark about that. Does it really matter? If we don't win awards, if we do win awards, we don't enter them. We don't enter industry awards. And honestly...
But they would give you value.
If people are really upset about that, that's like their energy to be upset and use their energy for being upset about it.
I don't think people are upset. I think it's understanding it. It's understanding it. It looks, it's a village. The village talks. Yeah. Many people, many of the big organisers who are M.I.C.Es see huge value in winning awards. Helps evaluate, improve the valuation of their company. You saw some value before, we don't see any value now. The only different factor was you didn't win any. That could be a factor.
It could be a factor.
Okay, but all right, we'll leave that. What's the culture like here?
So culture is a really important part of my daily job, my daily obsession. Our people are our superpower. So
How many people you got here?
There are over 700 people that work with us globally. Here there are 300, just over 300. And that oscillates as and when we buy companies, and some people keep the offices that they're in, and some people come and stay here, come and move in here. I think it's great to describe us as we are a corporate company, but we have the mind of a startup. And
what does that mean?
So we have the systems and processes and the platforms of a corporate. So if you are an acquisition that's coming to join us, you can retain the agility that you had in your years of growing, in your years of being very fast. And we want to retain that. We want to retain that pace. So we're going to give you incredible MarTech, incredible revenue tech. We're going to give you platforms, meeting platforms that you can plug into. So you don't have to worry about that. So you can just go faster.
These are people you buy in, are they, that you're talking about?
So acquisitions, if they want to plug into our platforms, our meetings platform, our MarTech, our marketing technology platforms. So whether it be HubSpot, whether
you've got a Go Faster program. Great. I get that. But what about your other staff who haven't come from an acquisition? I mean, like.
So again, it's about, we want to encourage you to think like an entrepreneur. Each portfolio director, we want them to think this is your own business. We're not minutiae checking every decision people are making. It's we empower you to grow your business, to deliver that P&L. You might want to break a few eggs along the way. You might want to take a few brave choices along the way. But go talk to your customers, do the research, obsess about the market. If you talk to your customers, if you deliver the right gold dust for them, the right high quality relationships, the right high quality buyers, and if you deliver the brilliant speakers, the best speakers and the best content that they're going to get anywhere in the world, but based on what your customers are telling you, then you're going to be flying, because you're delivering to the needs and wants of your customer group. So we employ really smart people that want to work very, very fast, that want to grow their career and grow their business. We often look outside of the exhibitions industry, actually. So I didn't come from the exhibitions industry.
You came from acting.
I came from acting, very, very different. One of our key account directors on EdTech, Ed Clark, he was an actor. He is one of the best.
Everybody, this is where to go. Go on.
So communication is really important. Having huge empathy with your customer and being able to listen is a key skill of an actor. Being in the moment and being able to concentrate on what your customer is telling you is a really important skill. And being able to deliver on what they've asked is something I think actors are very, very skilled at. So I think
actors just learnt their lines. No?
No.
Gosh.
A common misconception. I think the secret sauce that I would say I've got and that Ed's got is that I bring and we bring huge creativity with business acumen. And that is something that doesn't exist everywhere in business. So it's that creative thinking to solve problems and unlock opportunities in ways that are what I call beyond the inventory or beyond the page. So when we create partnerships with customers, we don't say, here's the inventory, do you want to sponsor this, that and the other? We talk about what is it, what's the value we can deliver for you around the year, across the 365 days. What is it that we can deliver each and every day through our community that we have? And that's something we're leaning into more. So we love smart people, fast people that really want to grow their communities, that really want to obsess about the community that they serve, and that wants to be in the community. So we want them to be face to face with their customers.
Do you recruit them from the community?
Yeah. So Duncan Very, who is the portfolio director for EdTech, he's been in education technology for 25 years and absolute delight. So what that brings is, and Zia is the same on Shop Talk. Zia's been in retail tech for many, many years. So what that brings is huge credibility. It brings a contact book, but again, it brings a deep understanding of technology, of, in Duncan's case, of the education industry, and of the challenges that EdTech companies face globally, but also the opportunities globally. So that has been a wonderful way we've unlocked new product development within the EdTech community. And that was, and again, more and more, we're trying to hire people from the community because they deeply understand the customer. And I think that is a part of our magic makeup within Hyve.
And what's your turnover like for staff?
So within my division, it is 16%, which I think in, again, somebody else who works for us ran their own recruitment company. And they said anything between 10 to 15% is sort of normal. So I'm pretty comfortable with that. Clearly, there are people that we really would love to retain that might go off and have families or launch their own businesses, launch their own events themselves and go off and do great things. My remit is, and the culture here is, when you're working with us, you will have career-defining years. We will train you, we will nurture you, we will enable you to go to some of our events so you can become the best marketeer or the best salesperson or the best community builder or content producer, whatever it might be.
How will they know if they're the best?
How will they know?
Yeah, because they don't talk to any of the rest of the industry.
Their customers tell us. Their customers and their communities tell us. And a great thing after each event, we do the Net Promoter Scores. And we
Do you believe in that?
I think they're an indicator. I think they're an indicator. I actually like to read the verbatims, and we do research. So we do qualitative and quantitative research to really understand our customers. And I read all the verbatims and we look for patterns. So often there are certain hygiene factors that you can spot quite clearly. But the things that I really want to understand is we come up with, I don't know, 12 weeks before an event, we will really think about what is it that we want to test on site? What are the research groups that we want to do on site at the next event in order to grow the event for the following year or to serve our customers better? So we'll come up with 3 or 4 hypotheses. We'll do research on site with different customer groups, and we often bring in external providers to run that research, so it's completely independent. And then 8 weeks post the event, we'll then say, this tested really well. And since then, we've spoken to our top 20 customers and they all want to do it. That's how we launch new things. So that's how we launched Breakbulk Asia, which is launching in Singapore this year. We're launching BET USA in Nashville in November next year. And that's how we launched the Ministerial Symposium or Shop Talk Lux.
So, well, thank you for your time this afternoon, Julie. Very great insight into Hyve, your career, acting. We're all going to watch the Lon Polly ad now, and try and recruit actors. But it's been great fun speaking to you. Very insightful. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Julie Driscoll. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Thank you.